and welcome to Fender Play Live. I'm your host, Scott Goldbaum, here with our guest, Kurtis Frost. Guys, whether you're a first-time player or somebody who's played their whole life, everybody needs a guitar that works for them and doesn't get in the way of learning. Today, we're going to take a look at some ways to enhance your guitar so you can play better right now, as soon as now. And stick around, we actually have one of my favorite LA-based artists, Syd B, with us today. She's going to show us a couple of the tricks she uses to write the songs she performs, and that's going to be a treat. So in the meantime, first give a warm welcome to Kurtis Frost.
Hi.
Hey man, good to have you with us.
I'm happy to be here.
Kurtis is one of our guitar techs from the Fender Custom Shop in Corona. He's a pro at fixing guitar issues and works on some of our top guitars that Fender offers. So welcome, Kurtis. Good to have you, man.
Great to be here.
Let me ask you, we were just talking about this before the show started. You're coming up on about a decade working with Fender.
About a shy of a decade. Started working in the metal shop on a punch press when I was 23 years old.
Rite of passage.
And yeah, working my way through the company. Now I'm in the custom shop. It's about the top tier of working on guitars and absolutely love it.
All right, well that qualifies you as being the person we absolutely need to talk to today. Fender guitars, they're renowned for their durability, their longevity, but it is an instrument, and like any other one, it requires some care and maintenance. So we see people asking in our community all the time. I ask this along the way too. What about guitar maintenance? And let's start with the most popular question. What does it mean to have a guitar set up?
Well, basically, to have a guitar set up, in the most broadest term, is to just have it working functionally. To have everything that it's supposed to do, doing what it's supposed to do.
Right, okay.
And I actually have this one in my hand that I purposefully messed the setup a little bit on, and some things that you can actually look out for if you think your guitar needs a setup, that it might be buzzing out, where instead of playing smooth, you're getting that buzz, or instead of bending and the note sustaining, it just kind of chokes out and disappears. You know,
I love all the terminology we have for just frets out, chokes out.
Exactly.
Yeah, it gets suffocated. No, but those are all indications that it might be ready for a setup. And I also know that can speak a lot to just like it having been a long time since you even thought about doing anything with your guitar other than playing it. So what would you say are some tips that you would give us, or almost categorizing the way in which we can focus on bettering our guitar?
Well, I've got 4 things that you can do, very simple and broad terms, that you can make your guitar play a lot better. The first thing I want to talk about is action. And the action is basically talking about raising the string height off your fretboard. And I want to start doing that on this guitar. Very simple. If you've never done anything at home, it's still going to stay on my lap. I'm not going to go to a bench. It's not going to go to a pro. We're just going to get this thing going.
Cool.
And what I'm going to do is raise these saddles up to about 1/16 of an inch. I've got my screwdriver and my ruler, and I'm just going to start raising this up.
Yeah, I see you got, like you said, you don't have a surface you're even putting the guitar on at the moment, man. Yeah. You've got 2 tools and a leg.
If I'm in custom shop, I'm doing it on a bench. But I mean, as of right now, just to show you how easily it can be done.
No, it's great.
If you're sitting at the hotel room or you know, at home working on your guitar.
The back of a Sprinter in a van.
Exactly.
Now, I know that my tech knows that I come from an acoustic background as a player. And I'm inclined to have my action almost be intentionally a little bit high, just because I'm used to that a setup on my telly the way I would like it on my acoustic in a lot of ways.
And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of metalhead players like dropping the action down low.
Right.
As they say, it makes
crazy
it play
fluidity.
Yeah, you can tap on it, a lot better sweep picking and things like that.
Right.
But I mean, it's all sort of a little bit of an art that you have it how you play. We all play differently as musicians, so you set up the guitar as you play. And a lot of people go out and find a tech that sets it up exactly how they need it.
Yeah.
Or you can learn how to do it yourself.
Right.
You know, we offer both.
Yeah, no, that is in its own art form. I think it's really interesting that the action just boils down to it being the distance between the strings and the fretboard. And sometimes if you get it a little bit lower to the fretboard, you're kind of running the risk of hearing that buzz. And other times if you bring it a little too high, maybe you love the tone, but you hate the way it feels on the tips of your fingers.
It's just impossible to play.
Right.
Now I've got this set up now, but I'm just retuning. Since you raise the action, it tightens the tension on the strings.
And then raises the pitch of the strings most likely.
Exactly.
Cool.
But now that we've got it going, I can turn it back up. Those same notes that were buzzing out. So a lot better. That plain and simple, straightforward, a lot easier right there.
That's great.
The second thing I wanted to talk about was raising your pickups. Now, if you notice here, we've got a humbucker on the neck, single coil on the bridge.
Cool.
And if we go to the bridge, a little out of tune.
Yeah, right.
But then if we go to the neck, it seems way, way quieter. It's because the neck pickup is dropped down which sometimes can happen. So what we want to do is raise that up.
So it's worth noting, guys, you can make an association between the distance of the pickup to the strings and the output. So what he's getting at, especially talking about this humbucker right now, is that it's pretty sunk in there. So as he raises it, by the time he selects that pickup, it's also going to have a higher output.
But you don't want it too close to the strings. A lot of people make the mistake of saying, well, if I put the pickup so close to the strings, it gets louder. Why don't I put it as close as possible? Well, you can have some issues. You can have the strings rattling up against it, but also remember that you have steel strings and your pickups are basically magnets.
They're pulling the string down.
Yeah, the closer the magnet is, instead of vibrating in a circular pattern, it'll start going in an oval, and that'll create buzz and issues.
That's good insight.
And now we've got this set up with the neck pickup. So here's our bridge, and now to our neck.
Oh, nice even volumes. That's great.
Yeah, so now you can focus on tone instead of just the volume.
That's great, man. No, that's fantastic. All right, looks like we got a couple more notes you wanted to make.
All right, the next one, this is real simple. You don't need any special tools. You need a mechanical pencil. And this is to clean out the nut. That basically, after playing for a while, you can get grime and gunk in there, and sometimes it can feel like the string's stuck. If you're ever tuning and it feels like, hey, it's stuck on this certain pitch, and then all of a sudden it jumps ahead, you can have issues there. And I know people want to go in with something a little more abrasive to clean it out, but then you can end up widening the slots of the nut or deepening it where you don't want to do that. The great thing about the graphite is when you take it off, you can actually slide it in there and you can see the pieces of the graphite flake off and just fill in that groove. So if there's anything in there, it's just opening it up and cutting it out.
And just kind of lathering it at the same time.
Exactly, and you just dust that off. And it helps that kind of works to help lubricate it, and also helps cleaning out any issues that you have.
Such a cool trick, that's great.
Now the last thing I want to talk about is the truss rod. The truss rod is a rod you have going through the neck, on the back if you can see. Sorry to the cameraman. But basically that helps control the bow of the neck. You want a very slight bow in it. As of right now, I have it where it's quite a bit open. And you want to take a wrench, depending on what style truss rod you have. This is an American Performer.
I think we're doing the Performer Telly.
American Performer Telly. So the adjustments on the top, a lot of vintage ones may be on the butt of the neck. Basically, it's a 1/8 inch Allen wrench. Put it in, start tightening it up, and that'll close the gap where you go from having a bow like this to straightening it out. As you can see here, it's much closer.
Yeah, I know, it's great. And this is applicable to acoustic guitars as well then.
Oh yeah, this is to acoustic guitars, basses, you name it. The specs can be a little bit different. I could go on for hours about how to fine tune and get it exactly. This is for your bare basic, maybe haven't worked on a guitar before. Get it down exactly.
Hey man, I appreciate the brief overview. You're doing it with 2 to 3 tools, including a tuner, and that's about it. So.
And not a bench, my lap.
Yeah. No, I think sometimes as teachers we think that we're supposed to be over provisionary, and you guys are supposed to get every little detail. When in reality, if you guys can take, especially for you guys who don't think you're good candidates at being your own guitar tech or feeling like everything is going to take forever if you hand it off to somebody else, try to take away at least just one of these tips and tricks, even if it's just raising your action. It's going to go a long way. It sounds like we got a question. With a Strat, what would you say about cranking the middle pickup all the way down? What advantages and drawbacks will that carry?
Well, there are plenty of people out there that say that when you have less pickups, it changes the tone. There are plenty of people who just want that single pickup, Esquire Telly or the single humbucker on the bridge. And then, we've had other people where they say, I want the triple humbuckers, and saying that the magnetic pole changes it.
Totally. To each their own in that regard.
Exactly. This is an instrument that you use to create your art.
Well, now that you're all tuned up and you've given us 4 really fast steps, I'm impressed at how DIY and how quick that was. Let's hear how it sounds. Let's play a little something. You weren't able to bend those strings before without them fretting out, so why don't I play some rhythm?
Yeah, let's try it out. Let's see how this sounds.
That's great. Kurtis, thanks for those insights, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you
making the trek. Give it up one more time for Kurtis Frost. That was really good. Next up, guys, we have our LA-based artist, Syd B. She's one of my favorite artists I work with. But I want to mention that another aspect of your guitar that might not be working in your favor is the type of neck shape you have. But how do you know which one is right for you? We're here to help with this week's Insider. Let me hand it off. Check it out right now.
Hi, I'm Ozzy from Fender Play. Now you'd be amazed at how much the shape of a neck can affect your playing. So today we're gonna help you find the best neck shape for your style and hand size. Got Barrett here to help out.
Hi.
And we're gonna break it down for you. Now there are lots of different neck shapes or profiles to choose from. Let's go ahead and take a look at 3 popular options that Fender offers. We got the C shape, V shape, and the U shape. Now these letters refer to how the neck looks when you're looking at a cross section of that neck.
So wait, what does that mean, the cross section of the neck?
So it basically means like we're looking at the guitar neck. If you were to go ahead and chop this up, you'd see the back side of the neck making that shape, either C, U, or a V. So let's go ahead and take a look at the U shape. Now this is the first neck shape made for Fender guitars. Now you might have heard of these being referred to as baseball bats since they're fairly chunky. Now since it's the older style neck, you'll see these in a lot of reissues, and given that they have a wider neck, they're good for players with larger hands like my friend Barrett here.
I do, I have larger hands.
Barrett's got a Telecaster that had an American original 50s U-shaped neck added. Let's go ahead and see how that feels.
Alrighty. It feels great. I can definitely tell, you know, it's a thicker neck. I've got bigger hands, so it really fills in the gaps that would normally be there if I had a different type of neck. And it feels great for me. I haven't played a lot of these, so I can just tell I can dig in a little bit more, I think, especially maybe for bending or using your thumb for
I noticed that you're using your thumb over the neck. Is it a little more comfortable to go and have more
Absolutely.
neck underneath your palm?
Totally, absolutely. And then, yeah, it makes it a lot easier to grab those other notes when you're using your thumb. And it feels great up and down the neck.
In the early days of Fender, when the U-shape was the only thing available, players complained that it was hurting their hands. So they ended up shaving off some of the sides, resulting in the V-shape. Now these again are seen in a lot of reissues and usually work better for players who like to hang their thumb over the fingerboard. Now Barrett's got a Paisley Telecaster with a V-neck. Let's go ahead and try that one out.
Alrighty. It's interesting, yeah. It's got a little different feel from the last one. Definitely can tell it's like the U that's been shaved off, so I'm feeling some gaps in there for sure. But it makes it easier for my thumb to reach over to grab this low E or even the A if I wanted to.
So you can reach all the way over with the thumb?
All the way over, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It definitely would take a bit for me to get used to this feel, but I could see how it would really work in certain players' hands.
Great. And last, we're going to take a look at the C shape. Now, the C shape is probably the most popular profile. They're comfortable and work for most playing styles and hand sizes. Now, lots of Strats, like this American Professional Strat, uses a modern C shape, which is a bit flatter than the traditional C shape. Let's go ahead and give it a shot.
Alrighty. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely faster. My fingers feel like they're gliding. They can generally just move faster because there's not as much wood there just kind of getting in the way, I guess, of my fret hand. Feels great.
Cool. So these are the 3 popular neck options, but there are lots of variations to all of these that change how your neck feels. The best way to find out which neck is best for you, go ahead and check them out. You can check out Fender.com for more info. And we'll see you next time. Barrett, play us out.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks Ozzy and Barrett. Make sure to check out the article in the comments for more info, guys. In the meantime, please welcome my next guest, Syd B. Woo! Yeah. Syd, it's so good to have you. You're one of my favorite artists I work with. You're LA based. You've got a pretty cool story to tell, and you actually just released your debut EP.
I did. Thanks for having me, by the way.
It's so good to have you. What's the name of the record?
It's called Water Me.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. I know that you were able to collaborate with some amazing people, including one of Fender's very own guys, Kyle Thornton, who goes by Floyd Fuji.
Yes.
Love all the guitar parts that you guys worked on together. I want to talk to you a little bit about that. I know that we just did a show together over in Chinatown Summer Nights with KCRW, and you've got a lot going on. So we're gonna get to hear it in an intimate setting today, which I'm looking forward to a lot. So tell us a little bit how you kind of came to guitar. I know it's primarily used as a vehicle for songwriting.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I come from a heavy dance background, so I had a free night in my week, and so I decided to pick up guitar lessons with this man right here.
That's where we met.
And I took lessons with you for about 4 or 5 years. That's when it all started, yeah. So, and then you kind of opened my eyes to how you can use that to make your own music. And I kind of pivoted my whole life into being a songwriter and being an artist.
Yeah, a couple years later. Yeah, you're on fire. And one of the things I remember is kind of watching the evolution of Syd's style. You know, you kind of came in with influences like who, would you say, were your first influences as a guitarist?
James Taylor, Joni Mitchell, Carole King.
Yeah, I remember you'd come in with like some open chord shapes, and you would just have this instinct to have it kind of move up and down the neck.
Yeah.
And then it was cool to watch you move from that into like, okay, well, we're going to teach you some bar chords. And what I loved about you as a student and now as an artist is as soon as you learn something, you try to find a creative application for it. And I think one of the cornerstones for you when you were pivoting from folk into R&B was you coming in with a chord progression for one of your songs that ended up catching some fire.
Yeah.
And I just loved the warmth of your vocal tone that I was like, maybe if we situate that on some minor 7th chords and some major 7th chords and kind of lean more into like a jazz approach or an R&B approach for it, it would sound really great.
Yeah, totally.
Do you think we could give the audience a little taste of that one too? The
let's
song's
do
called
it.
Claws, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Do we go together? Been asking myself forever. I try to believe you love me. My young heart is just fooling me. Can we stick together? Been asking myself forever. Maybe we don't deserve each other. All we need is that one lucky lover to defy you. I sink my claws deeper than I ever did into someone new to find you inside his flaws, holding on like love in a headlock. Ooh, yeah, look at me through your telescope. Zoom in on all that you broke. 'Cause I feel so out of control. Press rewind on your remote.
Gorgeous. Awesome. I love hearing that. I remember when you first brought that in, it was like that. To find you, I'll sink my claws deeper than those whole note strums.
Yeah.
And it was kind of on the heels of us learning so much about just basic chord theory and rhythm theory, and to see what it's turned into and how comfortable you are singing and playing at the same time is just awesome.
Totally.
You know, you were talking earlier before we started filming about what you do. It's kind of unique, but I think it speaks to a lot of students who don't necessarily come to guitar because they want to sound like their favorite shredder or they want to sound like their favorite band, but rather they use it as a songwriting vehicle. So could you tell us a little bit about what you do to kind of warm up as a player?
Yeah, totally. I mean, definitely how I write and how you've taught me is I kind of stick with things that are, you know, obviously comfortable. We all want to be comfortable on our instrument, but just kind of expanding those. So like turning those major 7th chords and picking them instead, or you know, just finding different ways to improve yourself. So I definitely warm up with my own material most of the time.
I think that's great. That's really great.
Just because I usually need to play it live.
Yeah, it's kind of twofold as far as how it benefits you, right? Like you've got the ability to be kind of refining your performance, but then you're also, like you were talking about this earlier, how you're like, okay, well, I know if I want to focus on like a syncopated finger picking pattern, instead of like Googling syncopated finger picking pattern, I'm just going to go ahead and jam on one of my tunes.
Right, yeah.
We mentioned Kyle, we mentioned Floyd Fuji earlier, and he wrote this really cool guitar line.
Yes.
And shout out to Floyd Fuji, you got to check his stuff out, he's amazing. But he helped produce your record, and I love this one song you were playing. Could you play a little bit of it for us?
Yeah, totally.
Cool, try it out.
I feel like your best kept secret in town. Lord knows that you're running your mouth. When we're alone, your walls, they break down. Who are you when I'm not around? I say it, you tell me that I'm sweet, but I'm just alright, alright. Okay, who the you think you're talking to? Fun, but I don't need you funny. Don't think of you when I'm by your side. Some sort of front that I can't see through. Good fun, but I don't need you. Don't wanna be your night and day. Don't wanna be there when you wake up. Don't wanna be your night and day. You give me nothing but your take. You want the real me, but you fake. You give me nothing but the breast.
That's gorgeous. That's so cool. I've never heard you do those songs in this setting, but it's really cool to strip it down. And I think for a lot of our subscribers out there, especially our students, we get questions all the time on how to sing and play at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that
Practice.
yeah, and like finding a practice that works for you too. Like don't be afraid, especially if you're somebody who really just came to the instrument to express themselves.
Yeah.
Look kind of inward as far as techniques. And then you know, one of the things I would really recommend to people who are willing to do this in our community, post a video of one of your tunes, one of your little licks. And maybe be like, guys, what am I doing? Like I know what it is, but what technique is behind it? You know, here at Fender Play, we obviously really believe in pulling out and deriving a lot of the techniques from the songs we're learning. But I'd love if we applied that to the songs we're writing too. So make it a point to do that. You know, what's great about all this is that you actually had some issues with this guitar. This is your guitar.
Yes.
And we had Kurtis Frost on earlier. He just
Saved
set it
the
up for
day.
you. It sounds amazing. How does it feel?
It feels great. It just feels smooth and easy to play, which is what you want. And I'm glad I got to sit here and listen to Kurtis's tips, because I will be on the go at some point without someone who knows, you know, like you, who knows how to help me. So it's always good to be self-sufficient.
Mechanical pencils, Post-its, whatever it takes.
Yeah, totally.
No, I'm glad that it sounds so good. In fact, we can also mention that on the Fender Play side, we just released another song to our platform. We just put out Cupid, a 60s classic from Sam Cooke. Can we play a little bit of that for them, just to give them some incentive to learn it?
Cupid, draw back your bow and let your arrow flow straight to my lover's heart. For me, nobody but me. Cupid, please hear my cry and let your arrow fly straight to my lover's heart. For me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And here's the reality too, guys. It takes a lot of time. You know, we were talking about your initial influences being Joni Mitchell and James Taylor, and it takes a lot of time to kind of figure out what your filter is, whether you're a creative or you're just trying to figure out, you know, what sort of genre you want to fit yourself into. And that's just us kind of filtering that amazing, timeless song through your filter. I mean, and I come from like a bit of a folk background, so you'll see me kind of sneak some of those things in from time to time.
Yeah, totally.
But I think it's really cool. So as a result of having that song out there and having heard a little bit of it, we've got some homework assigned for our people this week. You want to let them know what that is?
Yeah. So if you're a beginner, you're going to play the verse to that song. If you're an intermediate player, you're going to play All of Cupid by Sam Cooke. And if you want to blow our minds, show us your expert advice for playing better.
Yeah, and I want to really make it a point to kind of go off script with people who might be willing to blow our minds or take a chance. Kind of, you know, follow Syd's lead. Like if there's a lot of stuff that you are writing, that you're creating, and you're trying to figure out what they really mean so that you can practice more deliberately your stuff, post a video on our Facebook and go ahead and we'll help you out with that. We'll let you know what it is you're doing in case you want to do it a little bit more intentionally. All right, at that part of the show, we got to get to the giveaway. Fanfare, drum roll, please. This week's giveaway winner is Liz M. There it is. Pumps me up. Check the link in our description for more info on how you can be the next giveaway winner. Cool, we got some shout outs as well. Matthew, hey, you posted your first video in the group playing some 4-fingered chords. That's a lot of fingers from the fret hand to play all at once. You just learned them. Nicely done, man. I really appreciate you making it a point to post that. And you never know who you're going to be a role model for, so keep that coming up. Chris Hamilton, we just released this song. He just played Come As You Are and used some power chords to do so. Awesome job. We got some updates for you guys. We were laughing about this earlier. I'll let you take the lead on this one.
So we got some updates for you. There's one of my favorite songs from my childhood, Can't Fight the Moonlight by Leanne Rimes. And then one of my middle school throwbacks, which is Love Story by Taylor Swift.
That's one of my 31-year-old throwbacks.
Yeah,
I still love that song. We also got You Are My Sunshine from Jimmy Davis, timeless classic. And on the heels of that, it's worth mentioning that we have Cupid, as you just heard, by Sam Cooke. So make it a point to check out all those new songs. I really want to take a second to thank Syd B for being here, Kurtis for being here. We got so much entertainment and insight from both you guys, so thank you so much. And tune in next week for an episode all about metal. Keep practicing, guys. We'll see you for more next time. Strum that G chord.